Oh, hell no, we're shutting this puppy down.
Well, we want to stay away from any jiggle.
Gimme, gimme, gimme up after midnight.
Amazing Technicolor Shitshow.
Hello and welcome. This is Amazing Technicolor Shitshow, where we explore the fumbles and follies from all levels of live theater. My name is Elle.
And I'm Trev.
If you're new here, welcome to the Green Room.
Welcome to the Green Room.
We're a married couple from Wisconsin, theater enthusiasts, and we want you to send us stories from anytime that you've been involved with theater and something went wrong, or really anytime you were doing some kind of live performance art. And some kind of mishap took place. We want stories from how the mishaps were resolved, or maybe they weren't resolved, or how you triumphed, or how you embarrassed yourselves, or how you made friends about it. But yeah, send us your theater-related stories because we love that. We also love when you send us things that you would like us to research that are theater related. Today's little history that Trev is going to do for us came from a listener request. A self-proclaimed pervy listener requested that we do an episode about the history of nudity on stage. So obviously, we thought that sounded really fun. So we got a little spicy episode coming for you this week. So Trev, you've seen some nudity on stage in a theatrical production, right?
Yes, absolutely. I told you about this a little bit, but I'm not sure if I have ever shared with you the full story. When I was in high school, we went to see a production that my older sibling's friend was in.
Okay.
He went to college, and it was this production of Hair at a
university.
At a university, at a public university, which is pretty gutsy.
Yeah.
To put college students in a position. If you don't know, Hair is traditionally done with a specific scene. Where all of the ensemble is supposed to be in the nude.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's like in the script that they have to be, but it's traditionally done where, at this part in the song, everybody's just naked.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a vulnerable moment. The show is a very much anti-war, anti-Vietnam War era production. And so it's supposed to symbolize how vulnerable these kids are as, they live with a draft impending over them. So,
yes.
We can talk all about why
there's
shows
yes.
choose to make this artistic statement.
Yes. And it's very much an artistic choice, especially for that show, particularly, there's an artistic reason that they might decide that.
Yeah.
But what was the experience like for you?
See, it was funny because I knew this guy. Hilariously, the first time I ever met him, he was wearing a mesh shirt.
Oh, nice.
As a high schooler, in high school, he wore a mesh shirt to high school one day, and I was like, "Whoa, this guy is
gutsy. Love that.
Guy's gutsy."
Love that.
And then he just happens to be the guy who gets cast in a performance of Hair. There are no coincidences in this life. But yeah, I remember it was I thought it was gonna be sexy, I, a teen boy, was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna see some naked
nudity.
people."
Oh my!
But I remember being a little surprised at how emotional it was, and was just they're standing there. I remember they were waving these little scarves in the air, and just they were just it was just their human forms.
Yeah, just peacefully being nude.
It was very, for as sexual as that play is, it was very non-sexual moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that stuck with me. It was an interesting moment, and I don't think I've seen a show with nudity since then. It's a pretty wild thing to do in community theater, but I know, we've talked about Calendar Girls.
Yeah.
Some community theaters do go this far with their actors, and props. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And there's lots of different sort of levels of, I don't want to say levels of nudity, but there's a lot of different ways that people can handle nudity without it without people being fully naked. Like there's a lot of different ways that people can kind of artistically work around that. So it's always interesting the way that people decide to handle nudity in their show. Yeah.
Full frontal.
Full back.
Part Backal. Part Backal nudity.
Places.
Thank you,
Places. So to start off, we will look at a couple performance arts that predate nudity in professional theater because, there was a time at which nudity was a lot more common, and the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans, it was relatively common to see people naked.
Well, I was going to say people used to compete in the original Olympic Games naked, right?
Totally.
This is very timely, considering we just finished the Olympics.
Totally. Well, I guess maybe not a lot of Winter Olympics would have been performed in the nude.
Can you imagine
hopefully.
doing like the luge or something, or the skeleton like
Yikes.
naked? Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeesh.
Oh my goodness.
That sounds like a good way to get a skinned everything.
Right? That's just absolutely
to
okay.
get skinned.
As if the winter sports aren't like baller and metal enough, right? Like
they could be more baller.
the winter sports are crazy. That's like some Viking shit, like we're gonna ski and shoot guns. Like we're gonna, go on a sled down a tube that goes faster than any human should ever go, and you're just gonna go. Well, how about head first? Let's go head first. So
and how about bare bums
how
all the way
about
down?
ass first?
Ass first.
Bare ass and down the luge.
There were those guys that fell off the bobsled and they were like sliding down on their butts down
can you
down
imagine
the hill.
the burn? Can you imagine the ice burn?
Can't imagine adding insult to insult
Right.
on top of insult.
But anyway, point being, ancient people used to be nude for like lots of activities.
Right, yeah.
They used to do Olympics nude. I'm sure.
And a lot of like
Nudity was
ceremonies
pretty
were done nude.
Mm-hmm.
Nudity has always been a symbol of vulnerability and like innocence.
Mm-hmm.
I've got nothing to hide. Here I am.
Yeah.
So a lot of statues are nude based on how people imagined the gods, just like all just walking around without clothes on. So basically, before the general 17 or 1800s, it doesn't seem like it was all that crazy for nudity to be seen in public. But with the rise of Christianity and a lot of more like mainstream religion having a little bit more power, people got a lot more
strict about that.
Yes,
A little bit more
closed off.
more covered up.
But anyway, there were a few artistic endeavors where nudity was still common, even through the 1700s, 1800s. One of them, I think, I want to get into a whole episode on this sometime. It's an art form called tableau vivant. And, and in tableau vivant, these actors would get together and recreate a painting or scene from mythology. And they would just sit there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they would be nude because a lot of paintings are, of nude figures. It's really funny because there's a whole subplot in Arrested Development where this town was doing this. And I always thought that they made it up and nobody ever does this. But that's a real thing. It's called tableau vivant. And nudity in this session was okay to be, viewed by the public, as it was generally agreed upon that as long as the actors remained still and did not move, it was basically the same thing as a painting. Yeah. And, there's a lot more history of nudity in painting and sculpture.
Of course. And in painting and sculpture, nudity is art and it is not in any way lascivious to anyone. Of course, maybe today it is. But back then, especially, it was not. Sure. So that's really kind of funny that as long as nobody is moving around, it's totally fine if there's nudity.
It doesn't really make a sense.
Somebody goes against the, strict no moving policy, then suddenly it's bad.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it too hard.
Yeah.
But it was a loophole that allowed artists to be a little bit more daring than they otherwise could be. So, I'm all for it. So there was also some work done in this genre that was probably performed specifically for erotic entertainment.
Yeah.
But it apparently wasn't a big enough issue that it required legal intervention because soon there was going to be a bigger target for public outrage in the form of burlesque.
Oh, yeah.
So the act of burlesque is Also worth its own shit show episode because
Absolutely.
it has changed a whole lot since its inception in Europe.
Yeah.
Before the late 1800s in Europe, burlesque was never about stripping or women's bearing all.
Yeah.
It was about the art of taking an existing opera or ballet or classic play and they turned it into this comedic parody. But gradually throughout the 1860s, 70s, 80s-ish in America, we turned it into a little bit more of a body
show,
form of entertainment.
Yeah.
And by the Roaring 20s, burlesque had essentially transformed into hugely elaborate striptease shows as we imagine them today. But even in this era of more expression and pushing back on prudishness, you weren't going to see nudity, especially full nudity in any kind of legit professional theater. The Western world went through a much less sexually free era throughout the decades surrounding World War II. There were other things to worry about at the time.
Yeah.
The 1968 musical Hair is credited with breaking this never nude streak. At this time, New York City's Department of Licenses had this general rule, likely based on the tradition of nude tableau performances, that again, nudity was okay if the actors didn't move. So for that groundbreaking production of Hair, the actors appeared nude for about 20 seconds and pretty much stood still. And even though they weren't perfectly stationary, they were
Moving a little bit.
They were moving a little bit. They were sort of tiptoeing past the boundaries of what was, okay.
Yeah.
It was deemed artistic enough to get by the licensing board. Relevant, it was an anti-war piece in the 1960s, so the nudity was one of dozens of reasons why, the establishment might not have been thrilled with the musical.
Yeah.
But it was incredibly popular. It, debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts. So the production team must have known it wouldn't get shut down for fear of backlash to the licensing board.
Right. That does make sense.
But that 20 seconds of nudity in Hair was a big tipping point for lots and lots of theatrical expression over the next few years. Famously, the musical Oh, Calcutta in 1969 included a very naked cast dancing lots of very naked dances. All done very artistically and not at all suggestive, but,
More
moving.
nude. And they're moving around now. No longer the tableau vivant. Now
no
they're moving
longer.
around.
Yes. I think yet again, for fear of backlash, probably,
Yeah.
it was allowed to keep performing and ran for over 1,000 performances. Like, it was
Wow.
a hugely successful musical, even though the critics took issue with, is this nudity really necessary?
Yeah.
There was a lot of that going on. But thus, the don't move rule was officially shattered, and nudity on professional stages became just about as common as it ever got.
Okay.
That's not to say it was fully embraced, though. In 1972, Fleming Flint brought nudity to classical ballet in Triumph of Death by the Royal Danish Ballet.
Okay.
It was performed to great reviews in Denmark, but on its world tour, it was only booked for 4 performances at the Metropolitan Opera House in NYC.
Oh.
But in 1974, Broadway would actually see some very, very sexual nudity in a freaking buck wild show I have never heard of called Let My People Come, a sex musical.
I've not heard of this either, but okay, go on.
Yes.
Elaborate, please.
In addition to featuring several scenes of full frontal, the score includes such toe-tapping numbers as Everybody Loves to Screw, Come in My Mouth,
Oh my God.
and Fellatio 101.
What is this? Okay, and this was a professional production. This isn't some backwoods Las Vegas Thunder from Down Under show. Okay, the point being, so obviously there are shows that include nudity as the whole purpose of the show, right? If you're going to, something along the lines
interests.
of exactly,
Yes.
if you're going to a strip show, okay, I would expect that. But this is a real professional musical with these titles.
Yes, it debuted in New York City off Broadway for about 2 years, but then transferred to Broadway, was in previews, did 108 preview performances.
Oh my.
But then closed before ever officially opening.
Oh,
There were a lot of problems with this show. Could have its own episode, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of like creative differences and problems and things going wrong. Not to mention this little tidbit about the musical that doesn't have anything to do with nudity, but probably helped lead it to closing. The show included this parody of Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy
Oh no.
called The Conolingus Champion of Company C.
Oh, my eyes are watering at that one. Oh, goodness.
Yes. This sparked a lawsuit and lost because while it comments on the era the song was written in, it does not comment on the actual song. So the song can't be defended through the parody clause of fair use.
Oh,
it was just
my. The Andrews sister estate was like, oh, hell no, we're shutting this puppy down.
But as hilarious as that is, it wasn't hilarious for the show because they lost a lawsuit. So it was shut down, and who knows if it was because they knew it would be shut down once it actually got to Broadway.
Yeah.
Apparently they told critics not to come because
they were like, don't waste your time. This is never gonna make it.
Yeah, just do us both a favor. Just stay home.
This has the producers written all over it. Are we sure that someone wasn't putting this on with the impression that was like, oh, this will definitely close in one day?
Right, yeah, probably. But, I mean, the previews went on for a long time.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark was the show that broke the record for number of preview performances. Before then, 108 was the most.
Wow.
And so it was pretty expensive. They had to run all these shows.
Yeah. Oh my
wild,
gosh.
just wild, and wild that I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
It's not licensable other than through direct agreement with the publishers. You can't go on MTI and license this musical
for your local Indiana community theater.
For sure, yeah. But it just makes me think like the bar is so far above what we think it is, or below. The bar is,
so far below.
The bar is way down here. Because like people get all up in arms about performances of, Spring Awakening or like Avenue Q, like in the 70s.
Yeah.
There was a professional show on Broadway.
Yeah. That was so much more
with the song Fellatio 1-on-1.
Yeah.
101.
Yeah.
It's
one-on-one.
Well, maybe more.
Sometimes.
Maybe more. It just sort of puts a little bit of perspective on where we are with, raciness in shows and what's okay, what's doable.
That really none of this is pushing the bound. None of the stuff we see today that we would think is pushing the boundaries really even is. Because in the 60s and 70s, people were really pushing the boundaries.
Absolutely. So this is interesting that we're a little bit less into shock factor.
Yeah.
Than we were before. For the next few decades, nudity never really became like common, but it also never really went away, especially in straight plays. It turned out that it was a quick way to drum up press for a show. And not saying that's why a show would contain nudity, but certainly didn't hurt.
Yeah, you are going to get the looky-loos coming
those
to
looky-loos, especially when the character stripping down was a well-known name, like Nicole Kidman in 1998. Had
Daniel Radcliffe in Equus.
Absolutely, Daniel Radcliffe in Equus. We knew it was a big thing.
Yeah,
it was this giant.
It was a whole thing.
News story.
Yeah,
and I'm sure people flocked to that show because of the name recognition.
Yeah,
because where else are you going to see Daniel Radcliffe? In his birthday suit.
Legitimately.
Dude was 17 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's really morally complicated.
Yeah.
Because, where do we draw the line between, sex and not sex?
Mm-hmm.
So we find ourselves at a place where society's attitudes on sex have become like more lenient.
Mm-hmm.
But our sensitivity to making sure we don't hurt people is a lot more rigorous.
It's a lot greater.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So where are we now? The Actors Equity Association has been successful in establishing some long-needed protections for actors that I think are pretty well thought through.
Absolutely.
First of all, nudity is never requested at auditions. Also, the theater producing a show has to protect actors by ensuring that no audience members can go backstage when actors are nude. Mm-hmm. Also, they have to make sure that nobody can get the nudity on camera.
Yeah.
And that's pretty important and interesting because it's already usually prohibited to film a show that you're watching.
Yeah.
But when the theater is obligated to protect the actors who are performing nude, it's hugely important that you don't let anyone get footage of the performance.
Of course.
It has happened, and it goes terribly for for the actor, for the theater, for everybody. So sometimes theaters will make use of those locked yonder pouches that they use in classrooms, where you put your phone in the box and you can't get it out until the end of the show.
Yeah.
But that's not going to stop somebody who has motivation to get spy footage. So most importantly, nudity on the actor's part is fully voluntary all the time, every time. Actors have to be able to request either these like specialized undergarments or, lighting effects. A theater with actors performing the nude has to make allowances for the actors if they ever decide not
that they
to
can't,
want to do that.
for whatever reason.
Which I think is huge.
Yeah.
And that's a great protection for actors. And a lot of actors are just, chill with it.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, it doesn't really make a huge difference. Nudity on the stage isn't going anywhere for now. Currently, the play Liberation includes a scene with 6 actors fully nude in a scene where they begin with dialogue about their bodies, and then they transition to talking about much deeper topics, fears and mortality, etc. I saw an interview with one of the actors who said that she feels pretty comfortable in the scene because since the conversation starts about bodies and then grows to be about much more, what the audience is really experiencing in that moment is a growing acceptance of the fact that the actors are nude and moving on to more important things after that.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a good thing to remember that current art is like that. We're not using nudity for the shock factor anymore, like you were saying, or worse, to try to sell tickets based on people wanting to see some butts.
Yeah.
While every situation is different, and I'm sure it's still very, very complicated. And every time you want to do this, it's much more likely today that if there's nudity in a piece, the actor is in control of that expression.
Yeah.
And there's nobody coercing them to do so. Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just go see some butts, you can just go to Las Vegas and see all kinds of butts, you know? But if you want to go to a show that's going to challenge you intellectually and maybe challenge what you're comfortable with seeing, put you in a different place mentally to talk about some tough concepts and then maybe consider going to a show like this that's going to, make you think about it. I'm all for it.
All for it.
Would you ever consider doing nudity in a play?
I guess.
Yeah.
We're doing this podcast nude right now. Everyone who is on the video, shh. Well, maybe we're not wearing pants. You don't know.
You don't know. You
know.
Can't tell. But anyway, I keep coming back to just really loving the idea of like nudity is totally fine as long as no one moves. I picture someone like walking out onto the stage nude and just being like,
yeah, they have to be on a skateboard that's
like
moving.
a little deer in the headlights, like oh no. Yeah, you have to be pushed around on a little wheelie cart. You're not allowed to move. You got a mannequin style.
Well, we want to stay away from any jiggles. We don't want any movement. No pendulous actions.
Pendulous.
Strap that down.
Lock her up.
Lock her up.
5 minutes.
Thank you, Five. All right, so we're talking about censorship today, broadly. I thought we might do some unnecessary censorship in a game that I like to call Two or Not Two. So,
right.
Elle, I've explained this game to you. It's not really a game, but we've both had the opportunity to come up with some musical lyrics or lines, maybe, where some unnecessary censorship might make things a little more spicy.
All right.
So what do you got for me? You can go back and forth.
If you me, you'll understand what happiness is.
I love it. I also did think of one from the same musical. Because Jellicles, Angelicals, Jellicles, Angelicals.
Oh, that one's real good.
Spicy.
I love that. I don't know how to him. What to do, why he me.
Oh, he's a man. Is some build up here.
Okay. Just a little bit of build up, a little foreplay, if you will.
A little bit backed up. You have the cool, clear eyes of a seeker of wisdom and truth. Yet there's that upturned and the grin of impetuous youth.
That one's real good.
We're having fun in the studio today.
We're having fun in here today. What good is being alone in your room?
Nice.
Come hear the music play.
So good. Well done.
My eyes are watering. This game is a delight.
Okay, it's a jukebox musical, but I'm calling it it's the musical lyrics that I'm quoting here. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to and be in return.
That's a good one.
Thanks.
Gimme up after midnight.
There are a lot of ABBA songs that probably could work real well.
Yeah, you could do a lot of them this way.
I only have one more real good one.
I have one more real good one too.
Okay. Should I do my first?
Yeah, go ahead.
As someone told me lately, everyone deserves the chance to and if I'm solo, at least I'm free.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Woo.
I'm proud of that.
Okay, I hope that everyone at home comes up with your own list of
please.
these to be performed with your theater friends.
Yeah.
The next time
This is
you're
a
at a
good game.
get together, this is a great get together game for your theater posse. After hours when things get spicy. I could have all night. I could have all night and still have begged for more.
Brilliant.
Also, you can go on. I could have spread my and done 1,000 things I've never done before.
Oh, Lordy. Oh, boy. Woo. Getting hot in here.
This is so funny.
Oh, boy.
My eyes are watering in this one. Oh, goodness me.
Brilliant.
Well, that is our show for today. It is rated 5 teacups for spiciness.
Hey, we didn't say anything.
We weren't moving. We were stationary, so it
Stay
doesn't
still.
count. But yeah, whew, that was a good. Well, anyway, that is our show for today. Thank you so much for listening, and if you're watching, thanks for joining us on YouTube. Thanks for joining us here in the green room.
Green room.
We would love you to send us your stories, please. Send us any of your theater-related tales, things that went well, things that were challenges, things, stuff you overcame, connections that were made, drama. Really just send us any of your slice of life stories from what it's like performing the arts live. Also, feel free to send us requests for anything you'd like us to cover in our little historical segments. We are happy to take requests for that as well.
Indeed.
If you like what you hear, give us a good rating on whatever podcast apps you use, and follow us on social media, write us good reviews, and of course, tell your friends about us. Specifically, tell your theater friends about us. We love to make a community of listeners of theater professionals, enthusiasts, teachers. If you're a theater person, tell your theater friends, tell your tribe about the podcast.
Join the shit show family.
Join the shit show fam.
We need a name for our fans.
Oh, we'll think of something.
Shitheads. Oh, we've thought about this already. My brain just went to shitheads again.
I love that. If you don't like what you hear, tell your enemies about us, and we'll have them write us an essay on Tableau Vivant, because we want them to do a little research for us.
Please,
I think.
help us out. My God.
Piano accompaniment was provided by Paul Thelen, and our stage manager is Daniel Schneider. It would have been really funny if he walked in here in the nude today, wouldn't it?
I'll censor him. I'll put
Censor
a little
him
bar.
out.
Yeah.
As always, thank you so much for listening. And whatever it is you're up to, be it on stage, off stage, or in your life, break a leg. Break a leg.
Break a leg.
Amazing. Technicolor Shitshow.